And it's not because there's something wrong with my frontal lobe. It is just that we were promised that for the elect's sake, the days will have to be shortened. So we have to live now as if we believe. There was a time when we were seen as the people of the book. But what has the devil done to us now? He has stolen a march on us. He has kept the book far from us. Because people have to be dusting off their Bibles when they're coming out on Sabbath mornings, because we don't want to read. And we don't understand the importance of the engagement of the mind with the letters on the page. Yes, we have turned up people of looks, indeed. So this afternoon, we're going to have a short and spiffy presentation about the frontal lobe. I'm a nurse by profession, but I have teaching in my blood. So I'm not one of those persons who is going to just stand up here, sir, and you just sit there like a piece of sponge and absorb. That's not going to happen. The man on the advertisement said that not happen neither. So that's not going to happen today. Right? And I won't just put out the information and read it back to you. We're going to have a discussion as to what is going to go up there. Now, as I said to the others in the meeting that we had, it is mental health. We're talking about mental health. And it's not easy to keep mentally healthy. You notice all the things that are bombarding us at the same time right now? It is meant to keep your mind away from where it's supposed to go. So when you get up in the morning, there is a whole laundry list of things to do and very little time to do it. And so the devil is telling you that the 1 hour devotion now make no sense, man. But we need it now more than ever. We need it now more than ever. So I heard Sister Charmaine this morning talking about the 8-hour sleep. Well, I have to rob myself 1 hour because God have to get that hour. And when I give that hour to him in the morning, sometimes my husband said, I turn and I don't find you in the bed. I am gone to the prayer room to pray. He said, why you have to pray about some missus? I say, you don't see the time in which we live. Plenty power is needed, so plenty prayer have to go up. All right, so before we go into, the children are looking at me with, why me talking about my house business. Right? Before we go any further, let us summon the throne of grace so that he can help us to go in the direction which he wants us to go this afternoon. Let us pray. Father who art in heaven, great God of the universe, maker of this human machinery, we come before you this afternoon. And like David, we are saying that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. But Lord, we don't know the half. We don't know how much you put into us because of how much you want out of us. And so as we submit ourselves into your loving hands this afternoon, we're asking you to mold us and to fashion us into the creatures that you want us to be. Help us to be subject to your will and to your way, because you promised us that no good thing you will withhold from our hands. So help us not to worry about tomorrow, today, this evening, next week, but put you as the forefront of our mind, because you already know the way through this wilderness that we are traveling. And all you call upon us to do is to follow. You say when we miss our steps and when we fall, you will pick us up and you will carry us on your shoulders. Give us the willing obedience that we need to go on this journey with you. And when we all get to heaven, we will sing and shout for victory. Thank you for hearing our prayers, we pray. Be with this presentation, Lord. Direct it in the way that you want it to go. We ask in Jesus' name. Amen. Now, when you pass a certain part of your life, you see, everything don't function like how it's supposed to function. Sometimes we require a little assistance. Now, what this time that we're living in has done, I don't know for anybody else, but I can speak for myself. I started 2020 with 2020 vision. Things that I could see, my children couldn't see it. So things that I could see, they were having a little challenge here and there. And now, I can still see. But because I've been using these devices that he has sent to hypnotize us and to cause our minds to go in all sorts of directions, the vision has... When I'm not using the devices for a while, it comes back quite clear. But when I have to be at it, yeah, Sister Charmaine is saying yes. I find my vision get a little, but I can see. Right, so, if you see I have to put on a pair of glasses, it's not because I can't see. All right, so, the topic we are going to look at this afternoon is who is in charge of your frontal lobe. All right, so the structure of the human brain is such that it is divided into two equal parts. There's a left and there's a right. When I was praying, I said, we are fearfully and wonderfully made, but we don't know the half. Our God, when man makes these robotic arms and instruments and so forth, he don't put it on the left for it to function on the right. He put it on the right for it to function on the right. But God has put the left to cause the right to function. So there is crossing over. So if you're right-handed or you're right-hand dominant, because those of us can use both hands, but usually one hand does a little bit better than the other hand. So if you're right-hand dominant, you're ruled by the left side of your brain. And if you're left-hand dominant, you're ruled by the right side of your brain. So you notice that anything that God thought for us to be important, he gave us two. So let us name some of the things that we have two of. We have two eyes. Does it make our vision better? Close one and look through the other one. It's when we're doing these tests as nurse educators, we have what we call health assessment. There is where a lot of students discover that they have problems. It's sometimes in these classes that students get sent to see the doctor for different things because you're using both of them at the same time. When you tell you close one and look through the other one, all of a sudden you realize that, hold on, when I close one, I can't see anything through the other one. But if you don't close one, you will not realize that one is not functioning properly. So we have two eyes. What else we have two of? What that mean? Listen, no, we don't reach at the talk part yet. So it said that we must listen. Incline your ears not only to what somebody has to say, but to the word of God. He asks us to listen. And listening is not just, Sister Lisa is up there talking, so. Listening means that your brain gets engaged. So you can hear me, no? Sometimes I'm talking to the children, I say, but mommy, I hear you. Yes, you're here, but you're not listening. Because if you listen, the action will change. So, listening, and if you ever go into the intricacies of the ears, some very delicate things are inside of your ears. You may have known this before, but I'm reinforcing. It's your ears that is responsible for your balance. It's not your foot. It's your ears. So if we become violent towards one another, which is not God's prescription, God's people must be people of peace. We must learn to find peaceful resolutions to our disagreements. And another thing, it says that we must learn to disagree. I don't have to agree with you. That's why God gave me a power of choice. So if I'm not agreeing with you, it doesn't make me your enemy. But we are of the opinion a lot of times that Brother Simpson get up and he says something and I don't agree with him. And we just hold him up in our heart. So we come in on to the things that we have two of and the things that we have one of. What other things we have two of? We have two hands. We have two lips, you know. Yeah, man, we have one mouth, but it's two lips over the one mouth. Right, because you can't pucker one lip to kiss. Is it two of them you need? Yeah. So we have two lips. We have two nostrils in one. Yes, sometimes people said my right nose and my left nose. Two nostrils. All right? So he's increasing the power of what it can do by giving you two. All right, next thing. We have two hands. You think the two hands were given to you to be idle? But guess what happened now? Guess what the devil has done to us? This is the other match that he has stolen on us. No, man, sit down, work from home. So we don't move. And if we don't move, we're in problems. Everything becomes a problem when you stop moving. If you don't believe what I'm saying, ask the people in the hospital who lie down on their back and depend on somebody to turn them. What other things we have two of? We have 2 feet. 2 feet to follow Jesus. Right? And notice that none don't turn like this. The two of them going in the same direction. Right? So you have to make decisive movements when you move in your feet. Because they need to go in the same direction to prevent you from falling down. I used to tell my students, somebody come and say, Miss, I fall down. I said, what size shoes you wear? 10. I said, no, that size is not supposed to fall down. That is for the smaller sizes. So the frontal lobes are located directly behind your forehead. You see why you mustn't count the children in their forehead? Adults, you see why you mustn't conk the children in their forehead? They're not answering. Those who don't have them yet, you see why when you're planning to have them, you mustn't conk them in their forehead? The other thing I said I was going to bring up, it's not in the presentation, but I said I would bring it up. I have noticed, I sit at church, and sometimes when I get the opportunity, I will say it. Those who know me know that I don't hold back what I have to say. Right? Mothers have a habit when the children are crying. And they're shaking them like a bottle of soda. What do you think will happen? The brain is suspended in fluid. So when you shake it, it bounces into the hard skull at the back and at the front. So sometimes we see these children growing up and they have behavioral problems. And we say, in this you see, and you shake him and damage him. Serious business. There is such a thing as the shaken baby syndrome. So when the child is crying, and that's another thing that I need to say, you need to stop them. Crying shouldn't be an eternal thing. Because when they cry, they get alkalotic and it affects their brain. So when they cry and they get into this temper, and then no oxygen not going into their lungs, and they just continue, you want me to give it, and you give them something to cry for, and they continue to cry. Parenting does not come with a manual. And that is why it is, I have said it to Keisha before, parenting is not for the faint of heart. It's work. Hard work too. Because it's something that you do, just like how Moses told the Israelites, before you get up in the morning, you're parenting. And when you're up all day, you're parenting. And when you lie down, you're parenting. This job don't have any recreation time. And it don't have any vacation or any holiday. So I always say to young people, if it is not something that you plan to do for the rest of your life, leave it. It's not for everybody. And it look cute on this one and it look cute on that one, but it don't fit everybody. All right, so we're saying they are the largest lobes in the brain. So now, because I told you that the brain is divided into two equal parts, right? People always talk about the frontal lobe as if it's one lobe. It's two lobes. So we have the right hemisphere. Don't watch my hands, because I know you're following the hands. So we have the right hemisphere and we have the left hemisphere, right? So what I said about the left side of your brain, what it's responsible for again? The right side of your body. So when I do this, it's the left side of my brain that told me to do that. Right? So in the human brain, they are the most common area of injury. As I said, it is suspended in liquid. So if you shake it, the liquid get displaced. You know, like when you have air in the soda bottle, and you shake, the air get displaced and the liquid come to the top. Right, so the liquid moves to the back and the brain crashes into the forehead. And when it crashes into the forehead, it gets injured. So don't hit the children and throw them down on the ground, and don't hit each other. And don't hit up their head in the wall. Because you're not going to get better, you're going to get worse. And you know, Adventist people practice it too, you know. Mm-hmm. When you see them carry the children past the car, them and go down so. All right, let us not go there. Right? And they might not hit them in the head, but you keep your fingers and you keep pushing. And you keep pushing. Right? The brain putting up resistance. So you push it back, push the head back and the brain move forward. And it crashes into the forehead and creates an injury. And then the child says to you, Mommy, I don't feel so good. I feel like, no, you don't want to vomit. Not a thing wrong with you, you don't want to vomit. God knows what he's doing. He knows what, he doesn't make mistakes, you know. So, and sometimes the little child that gives extra trouble is to prepare you extra because your character needs refining. So take the time to learn the lessons that he's teaching you. Because guess what happened? If you don't learn the lesson the first time around, he keeps sending the same lesson over and over and over till you learn it. So the quicker you learn the lesson is the best way so that you can move on to the next lesson. Because you keep trampling over this, and he's not going to leave you until you learn the lesson. He's not going to leave you unless you decide that, God, I don't want no more of this. When he has something to teach you, he's going to keep teaching you until you learn. And learning brings about change in behavior. So they are important for voluntary movements. Let us look at the things that we have one of now. We have one what? We never say we have two lungs. Not true, Percy, we never say that. We're only looking for on the outside. We have two lungs and two kidneys and two what else? Two ovaries, two testes, two what else? Certain things are taboo in the Adventist church, we don't talk about certain organs. So that, right, Percy. So that is why our young people get into trouble a lot of times, because we don't talk about certain things. So they go out and other people tell them about it. You don't talk about it in your home. You don't talk about it at church. And they have to learn it. So if you don't want to teach, if there are things that you want them to learn, you will have to teach them. All right. So, expressive language. You say, I can express myself. All right? It's my frontal lobe at work. Why are you laughing? Right? And it is also responsible for higher executive functions. What are these? Go ahead, Gabby. So, what are these executive functions that we have? All right? We have cognitive skills, so how you think about something, how you reason it out. You know why we get ourselves into a lot of trouble sometimes? We don't reason. People must always see you as a reasonable person. Yes, it could go that way, but suppose we look at it this way. Is your way, my way, and the right way, And sometimes neither of us are right, but if we start reasoning out the thing, we will get it right. Right? So, your capacity to plan. So does that mean that those of us who don't do very well at planning don't use up our frontal lobe very well? I need to plan a menu for this evening. Mothers, do you always plan your menu? No. You just go into the kitchen and say, what am I cooking today? No, it's a question. What am I cooking today? And then you start looking around, and the brain gets engaged and say, do you know that string bean can go with saltfish? The plan just start to emerge and start to unfold. Did you know that you can fry tofu? Fry, Sister Lyons? I think you say we mustn't fry. So you think Charmaine tell us this morning that we mustn't fry? But another part of the preparation of the food must be palatable, and the food must look like you want to eat it. If I give you white rice and white cabbage. So white cabbage is the pop chow N. Right. If I give you white rice, just follow me a little bit, Sister Charmaine. I know that in your mind you're saying brown rice. Right? If I give you white rice, white cabbage, white tofu,
soursop juice. What an attractive dinner that is. I just want to come to the table and consume it. And then I put it out on a white tablecloth. And I give you on a white plate with some white utensils. How nice that look? That look like you want to come to dinner? That's why God give us colors. We must incorporate the colors when we are cooking our food. Children are the best tasters in it. Did you know that? Because they're not going to hold back if it not tastes good. This orange juice tastes like one sour orange in there. Not good. Not good, not good. This avocado tastes like it on the spoiling side. Not good, not good. The adults now will just serve it. So how is it? It's okay. That's why I love children. They have the honesty that God loves. They're not going to tell you, Mommy, what are you wearing? And even if you don't know what you're wearing, the expression on their face, they go take you off. Right? It gives you the ability to organize. So you don't only organize things in front of you, you organize your thoughts. What am I going to say first? What do I need to say last? I need to speak with this person. Notice I never say speak to, because we don't speak to people, we speak with people. We speak to animals. Because the person that you're communicating with needs to communicate with you. So even if it's our children, Mommy, I don't really want to do it. Why? Because such and so. Okay, but do it my way this time, and we'll see how your way work another time. That other time usually never come. Right? It gives us the ability to initiate, to self-monitor, and to control your responses. Notice he said responses and not reaction. Sister Lisa, that red shoes don't look good with the blue dress. You give me money? Are your money may I spend? Well, if you thought about it, you could have responded. Well, to tell you the truth, and I tried on the other shoes this morning, but the bottoms came off, so this is all I had left. It can happen. I'm sure a lot of people can put up their hand, especially the ladies, and talk about how much shoes stay in your closet until the bottom, leave it. COVID. And COVID tell you that you have too much clothes in the closet. Because now you have no occasion to wear them to. Nobody not married in. The people who die, you can't go to the funeral. No school not keeping. So you have nowhere to go and this whole heap of clothes to wear. It also gives you the response that you need to achieve your goals. 2 weeks ago, Sister Carla was talking about the days of our lives, like sand through the hourglass. So you have your choosing days, you have your changing days, and you have your concluding days. So it gives you the power to achieve your goal and know when you're buck in Jamaican parlance. When you reach, now stop. I can take this much, and I'm going to spend my time doing something else. Because learning, it's always there, it continues. You can't learn till they're ready to bury you. And you can learn something new the whole time. But you have to tell yourself, all right, I've had enough of this. Let me focus on something else. The frontal lobes are considered our behavior and emotional control centers and the home of our personality. So as I was saying before, if you shake out the life out of the baby, it might just change the personality. From my experience, there are a lot of persons who have had motor vehicle accidents. Now, when you have a motor vehicle accident and there is no loss of consciousness, they usually send you home. So you come in, doctor, I was in an accident, and did you lose consciousness? No, doctor, I didn't. They send you home. Yes, doctor, I think there was a time when I'm not sure if I knew what was happening. They're going to keep you overnight. Because what happens is that these simple insults to our brain can result in changes in our personality. I have seen Christian people on the ward cursing all the material that Pings and Zans and all of them sell. And the relative will tell you he was never like that. So, you have to be careful with the brain. And I will show you later on how to care for it. You know that you can care for your brain? Yes, man. Just like you spend time on toenail and fingernail and so. Brain can care for as well. Next one, Gabby. Okay. It's vital to our consciousness as well as the functions that we have that are uniquely human. Tell me one of the things that are uniquely human. We can speak and have the ability to understand what is said because you can train the parrots and the budgies to talk. But you don't understand what you say. I know of a story where a man trained a parrot to terrorize his neighbor. So every time he wanted to say these things to her, but he couldn't say it himself. So every time she passed, the parrot would tell her, hey, you frack ugly, and you're this and you're that. So the lady took him to court and said, this bird, he's not harassing me, but he has this bird that is harassing me. So the judge instructed him, now you put something in the bird, it's not easy to come out, you know. The judge instructed him, you need to keep your bird under control that he stop harassing this lady. Say, oh, okay, Your Honor, I'm going to do that. So one day the lady is passing, and the parrot looked through the window and saw the lady passing. Said nothing that day. The second day, the same thing happened. The poor bird couldn't take it anymore. So he called out to her. And when she stopped, he said, lady, you know. So you don't have to tell her how she look at because she know already. Now, the frontal lobe plays a vital role in memory. So those of us who are slowly losing our memory, maybe we're not exercising our brain enough. Children? Yes. Maybe. Justin is saying maybe. Yes. It plays an important function in attention. Why can't the child sit down in church and enjoy the service like the adult? Is it because it's just boring? Why the child's attention is all over the place? Because children like engagement. And most of the things that adults focus on are not very engaging. It interests us because of how we are as adults. But it don't interest the child because there's no engagement in it. And that's why I said to you, you're not just going to sit down there and expect Sister Lisa to say, and then I'm going to suck it in like a piece of sponge. When you participate in things, it makes him, when it's more interactive, it makes it more memorable. Right? And it also has a function in our daily tasks. So the way you perform your tasks through the course of the day is telling you if you're functioning, your frontal lobe is functioning the way it should be. The frontal lobe, so the brain has the frontal lobes, it has the parietal lobes, it has the temporal lobes, it has the occipital lobe. Now, the frontal lobe is so important in what God wants to teach us that you see how many other lobes I named afterwards? And the frontal lobe is 1/3 of the size of your brain. So is that telling us anything about it? It is very important. All right. So here are some functions that emotional expressions. So when you're sad, when you're happy, when you're melancholic, when you don't even know what you are, frontal lobe. Solving problems, memory, language, judgment, behavior, personality, your ability to communicate. Because people can talk, but they can't communicate. You know that? You know a lot of people talk and they don't communicate? Decision making and driving. So it's not because the lady have 2 left hands why she can't drive. But that part of the frontal lobe may not be as active as it should be. Maybe that's why a lot of ladies are afraid of reversing. Tell me to go forward, but don't tell me to go back. All right. So, go ahead. Let us look at what Revelation 22 and verse 4 says. Mali, can you put it up there for me, please, love? You don't have anything to put it up there? No? Revelation 22 and verse 4. See, I'm going ahead and not using the glasses yet. And they shall do what? See his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads. What did I start with this afternoon? Which text did I start with? Memory. Yes. So we are now seeing who are listening and who are hearing. Thou will keep him in perfect. So when his name is in your forehead, you can anticipate. It's like, for those of us who are married, when you're married long enough, you know these things. If somebody is giving you something for your husband, without taking it, you can say if he will like it or not. When you go into the store, ladies, to buy a pair of pants for your husband, you can't just take it up and look at it and say, I'm not going to wear that. Right? So, you ask God to give me a heart like thine. So you start knowing what he likes. No, he don't like me to do this. If I do this, God is going to be sad. We have to start thinking like that. We have to get the heaven thoughts, get the heaven thoughts in our brain. We have to start to get it. And it's not when we cross over that it's going to come. It has to start from here. Next. So the frontal lobes are important in movement. In fact, researchers have mapped the areas of the brain that control movement of specific body parts. As I was saying to you before, when they make robots and so forth, they don't have a left side of the robot to govern the right side. It's the same side. And they know which wire to pull to make the finger go out. You know which wire God put, why I can point on you right now? Who told the other fingers that they must bend under so that you can see me pointing? Did I think about it? I'm going to point. You three of you need to go so, and that one need to go up in the air, and that one need to go forward. Did you think about it? If you're breathing, and I say take a deep breath, all of a sudden you realize that you were breathing, and the breathing changes. You all know that, right? Yes. And that is why when you go to the hospital, you go to the doctor's office, and they're going to do your respiration. Nobody says to you, I'm going to check your respiration now. Because the moment you tell them that you're going to check it, it changes. So you just continue to do what you're doing and just check it without them knowing. So the homunculus is a part of the brain that is responsible for all those nice things that you can do. And brothers and sisters, you don't know how much you love to do these things until you can't do them. I remember a family friend of ours had cancer of the throat. And when we visited him, a gentleman said he never realized how many times per day he swallowed until he could not have swallowed. How many of us sit down and check how much time we swallow since morning? We don't check on those things. And if we, listen, brethren, if we were doing some of these things, we wouldn't take God for granted. Something flies by, and a little particle of it gets into your eye. Who tell your eye say you must start squint? Did you engage your brain and say, I start squinting, something just went into you? So when David was saying that we were fearfully and wonderfully made, we, with much research and more advanced, we still don't know how fearfully and wonderfully made we are. All right. So the frontal lobe of primates, particular humans, is much larger than the other species. Why? Because we have enough more things to do than them. When they're building a house, they don't think that I'm going to need 1,000 blocks for the left side and 1,000. They climb up in the tree. They use their teeth to score off the branches, and they cut some limbs, and they put it together. Home. You know, you say, I need to have the chromatic roofing, and I'm going to need sunken lights. I'm going to need chowy lawn paint. So you need a bigger brain to do that. If I am going to take up some stone and pile them up on top of one another and go under it, I need a big brain to do that. If I'm going to dig a hole and go down in there, I need a big brain to do that? No. But God knew that we're going to want to do things that the other animals not interested in. So he gave us the capacity to do it. So the frontal lobes extensively connected with your nerve pathways. I was just showing you some nerve pathway movement a while ago. Ashley. Who tell the fingers to fall and come up here, so? If I say Ashley. Nobody does this to say Ashley, don't you? Unless you're crippled. You're pointing out individual things. How does your body know how to respond to say, she's going to stretch out her hand and she's going to point her finger? And she's going to turn her body in the direction. All of that taking place, all without you knowing, you know. Fearfully and wonderfully made. So God took a lot of time with us, so we must take a lot of time for him. And we must not be afraid to defend him. Because when you're watching TV, especially these days, and you see the entertainers come out and do all sorts of things with their hand. They're glorifying who they think is their God. Why we as Christians now refrain from glorifying our God? Why we see people doing things and we can't say, my brother, do you know that will harm you? Really and truly. That will harm you, you know. Because a lot of times it's not what you say to people, you know, it's how you say it. Don't always go from a position of authority. That's not how Jesus went to people. He never went and spoke down to anybody or spoke to. He spoke with them. He connected on their level. So we reach this stage now in our preparation for heaven, where we must start communicating on people's level. Let them know that what you see here taking place is not going to last very long, you know. How many of us understand that time short? We say time is short, but how many understand that time is short? Have you ever heard about the metaverse? Put up hands, all those who know about the metaverse. One of my friends that know about the metaverse, I don't think he know about the metaverse. How many people know about the metaverse? All right. We're way behind if we don't know about the metaverse. This is another plan that has already been enacted to distract us a little further. You think you see mad people yet? Wait till the metaverse come. In the metaverse, we buying land that don't exist, with money that don't exist, having relationships that don't exist, with people that don't exist. Gabby is going to show you something. Okay, she needs some charge up here, please. See her outlet over there. The red one over there. Just pull it in a little bit and plug it in. Push it down. Push it right down. It can't fit. No, that's not working. All right, so this is one of his distractions. Because there are many things to learn. So if I can distract them a little and hold them back, we have to see the enemy for what he is, you know. All right, so a new dimension of technology is about to be introduced called the metaverse. We live in the universe, but we're about to be introduced to the metaverse. You hear when the Bible says, blessed is he that readeth? These things come out in media, you know, but they write it in the newspaper. How many of us read the newspaper? And it's not hidden on the internet either, but you wouldn't be looking for something that you don't know nothing about. You've never heard of it, so why would I be looking? Those who have WhatsApp, open your WhatsApp and look at the bottom of the page, what you see down there. It used to say powered by Facebook. Look what you see down there now. You see Meta down there. Okay, so you already gone into it and you didn't even know that it exists. You can show metaverse? Okay. So in the metaverse, you hear us talking about Bitcoin, right? Bankers, Bitcoin, and cryptocurrency. Did you know that you can buy islands and you can buy travel? People don't need to leave their house now to go on a vacation. You go in the metaverse and you're at the seaside. So when I tell you that if you think you see mad people yet, wait. Almost every time I go to Mandeville, I can identify a new mad person. Why is this so? Because the enemy know that we're not paying attention. All right, so we're going to look at the metaverse. I can see. All right. Now I need my glasses. No, I can't read it either. So it says metaverse is a hypothesized. You know what is a hypothesis? It's something you make up. A hypothesis is something that you make up. You don't exactly know, say it go like this or it go like that. But I am thinking that it may be this. So the metaverse is a hypothesized iteration of the internet. So you come out of what you are in real and gone into false. Right? This is what is coming to us very well. It is here. It's just that we're not that virtually connected. You see, like me now, this is not going to catch me. I am around there several spaces behind. Right? So it's supporting persistent online 3D visual environments. You heard what I said? 3D visual environments. So Balti, would you like a vacation on the North Coast? You can go to Negril sitting right there. Right? And this is done through conventional personal computing as well as virtually and augmented reality headsets. So you put on these pair of glasses and you're really enjoying the sea. You hear the beach, you feel the sun, but you don't move. Why when you take off the glasses now you wouldn't mad? Eh? Why your mind is going to be set the way it's supposed to set when you've gone into these kind of enjoyments and it's not real? But guess what? So I was doing my own analysis of this thing now. And I am saying to myself, remember, Satan, Lucifer, was a celestial being. You hear us? Sometimes when I hear Christians talk about, they can't fathom how every eye going to see Jesus. What are you talking about? You're putting him into human limitation when you do that. Because what about Australia? It is under the earth. And what about the North Pole? It is so far away. How all of us going to see him one time? You know who is God? So Satan came from this celestial realm. When you talk about God having a book, it might not be a physical book like this. But the servant of the Lord tells us that when the righteous and the city of Jerusalem comes down to judge the wicked, they're going to see their life pass before them. You know how they're going to see it? I know in their imagination. It's everybody who is present going to see it. So if he can come up with something like this, can you imagine? That's why the Bible says, eye hath not seen, ear has not heard, you can't even perceive. Can't go there so. But Satan I try to give him people them a foretaste of what he know that they're not going to have. And so we must run down these things, brethren. This is going to lead a lot of us astray. So we continuing on we can't face reality, so and give us a virtual one. This is not real. This is not real. Continue. So it says that your frontal lobe, most of us, it's not developed until you're in your mid-30s. So young people, we sympathize with you. And if more of us in the church understood that the frontal lobe not 100% there yet, we'd understand why they make some of the decisions that they make. And we wouldn't come out with our guns blaring. Because sometimes we forget that we were young and irresponsible. Sometimes we forget. If you can't put them outside of heaven, leave them alone. If you don't have anything too good to say, left, no say nothing. Don't say. Because the one word might just push them over the edge. All right, so damage to the frontal lobe. Remember I told you about the shaken baby syndrome. What can happen? Loss of simple movements. The inability to plan and sequence where complex movements are needed. Loss of spontaneity and interacting with others. You know, you have some people in psychology, we call it, they have a flat affect. I can do the flat affect. I used to do it on the students when I'm conducting face-to-face exams. So you're walking by and you're looking at what they have, and the student turn and look up at you to see if your expression going to tell them if their answer is right or wrong. I just keep moving. Yes, I can do the flat affect. But you have some people where the flat affect is a part of them. You don't know when they're happy. You don't know when they're sad. You don't know when something is going on. You don't know if something is going on. You just don't know. Because the face is expressionless. God never made us to be expressionless people. That's why he gave us expressions. Inability to express language. So you ever hear you talking to somebody and say, I know what I want to say, but I just don't know how to say it. Your own language getting into your way. Say it in the way that you know how. Loss of flexibility in thinking. And as Christians, we must learn to think flexibly. Why did Brother Scott put on that jeans pants and come to church today? Is it because Brother Scott wants you to say something? Is it because everything else wet up? Is it because the other pants dirty? But that's why God asks us not to judge. You know? That's why I said judge not. Leave the judgment to me because you don't know what happened. So, inability to focus on the task and filter the distractions. How many of us are able to do that? Children are on the, what they call it now, online learning. And all the distractions are to the side of the page. And the pop-ups to get in their way. Man, I'm just going to play this game for a couple seconds. And before you know, you're gone with the game. And teacher is calling your name and you never hear. It happened to us even as adults. You go on your phone to make a call. And something pop up and you decide to look at it. And you forget that you never made the call. Mood fluctuations. Christians supposed to be moody? Answer the question. Really and truly. The moody where you're gone into one. Today you're hot like fire and tomorrow you're cold. I'm not saying that your emotions will not be altered by your situation. I'm talking you're just moody. People don't know what to say to you because they know they have to check your temperature first before they say anything. Difficulty solving problems. Justin, you want to solve the problem for me, please? Okay, so here I have a Rubik's Cube. How many people can solve a Rubik's Cube? Put up your hand if you can solve it. With time, how much time you think you need? An hour? Okay. When you're in your... When I was a child, the boxes, the things on the boxes used to be pasted on. Me used to solve it. Yes, I used to solve it. You just move them around without moving them around. Hey, it's solved. All right. Edynamia, where you have people, it comes from the word dynamism, where you have people who don't have no motivation to do anything. And I want to cook, I can't wash, I can't clean, I start the activity but I can't finish it. And this is a persistent thing. Every now and again we feel that way, and no, something not bother today. Today I'm not bothering. But if this is a regular habit, it's a problem. Because it's not only affecting you, it's affecting other people. If you get up every morning and tell yourself that other people are dependent on me, you know you would function different. I mean, consciously tell yourself. You jump out of the bed and you say, I have to go get up and make breakfast. I have to get the children ready for school. I have a paper that I need to write. You say all of that, But if you consciously say, if I don't do this morning, a lot of things going to spoil. You know that we'll function different? We make time to do the things that are important to us. But what do we think about other people? Reduced awareness and insight into difficulties. So the problem is seemingly difficult, but why? How many people you know that run away when things get difficult? They just S the spot. Or change the subject. Changing the subject, especially in relationships. If you have something to talk about, talk. Look here. You went ahead and you got that glasses. You never asked me if I like it. And you're wearing it in front of me every day. And me no like it. Me no love it. So the next time you go, it kind of hard to change it now. The next time you go, see if you can consult me on this one. Because the red frame glasses there on your black face now look good. If you have something to talk about as a couple, talk. No vex 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2 weeks, 4 weeks. And then you say, all right, sure. Me tired of vex now, so we just cut it short here, so. And then the problem is still there. So you need to say something. Listen. When you come in at this hour of the night, it affects my sleep. I understand what you... And the coming now have to come from outside, The coming can be same place in the house. Me need to go to my bed, but you have to watch TV. Or you have something that you need to finish. Say to the other person, listen, when you get married, you're not your own. It's not you alone in there. So you say to the other person, listen, I need to go to bed at X time. So if you have to stay up, you have to stay up. But try and come in quietly, nobody come in and then you go in and brush your teeth and then I wake up and I can't fall back asleep. And you draw them and you slam them. Mindfulness. Mindfulness. No. And you see, we have other things. So we know that other relations supposed to take place and one put himself to bed quick. Because he know that if he wait, me going to be vexed. So me make certain so me go on my bed early. It can't work like that. It's not so God did design it to work. So if you don't want the disturbance, stay by yourself. Right? And it changes in your personality. So this today, nice and happy and talkative, and this evening I want to befriend somebody. No, people can't always fluctuate with you, you know. And you cannot control what another person is feeling. You can only control your feelings. So when you think about the other person and say, me don't really feel so hot, you know, but if me go start do this or do that, I go start feel bad. Put out the joyful part of you. Find something joyful to think about. And I tell him to pretend and tell lie. Because that is evil. I'm not feeling so hot, you know, but you don't know how I go try. Maybe if you turn on like music and so, anyway. All right, so we move past that and we are caring for our frontal lobe now. So one of the things you need to do is protect it from mechanical injury. And as I said earlier, stop pushing the children in their forehead. Know that it has other consequences that you might not be able to deal with if it turns out into something. Right? Prevent and control underlying diseases that may damage it. So we have the diabetes, we have hypertension. We have other sexually transmitted diseases that affect your brain. Did you know that? We have the things that we eat that affect our brain function. So control those things to prevent injury to your brain. Give it an adequate amount of oxygen from your blood. Charmaine talked about making good blood this morning. Eating good things. Eating temperately the things that are good and just leave out the things that are bad altogether. Right? Sunshine. This morning she said something about vitamin D and your brain. Does anybody remember what she said? What did she say about vitamin D and your brain? It promotes memory. So a little sunshine, children. You see the sunshine that you're not hiding from in the house in the COVID time here? Don't want to go outside? If you're having problem solving a particular problem, math, science, go out and take some sunshine. Start triggering your brain. Guess what? And another thing. Exercise. Did you know you can exercise your brain? I heard somebody once say that the brain is a muscle. And sometimes, is who says it? Sometimes when you're in settings and you hear people say some things, you just do silent reverence. The brain is not a muscle, it's a nerve. Like a muscle, right? So it needs to be exercised. But it don't have any fibers on it that need to strengthen. And that is why if it bounces into your forehead or it bounces into the back of your head, that is why it gets damaged. The muscle, we just put up resistance and make that part tough. I'm preparing for this person is a traumatic person, so I'm preparing. He might go fall down, You know, say he might fall down though. Did you know that the child's head is significantly bigger than the rest of his body? All the children, their head is significantly bigger than the rest of their body. In comparison to the other places. You know why God make it so big? No. The brain inside the head is small. So it needs a whole heap of water to protect it. Because the Lord knows that they're going to fall down. Because they have to run. So he puts them down with extra buffer and extra cushion. As you grow older, you have less water up there now. So when you crash and you get a coup and a counter coup injury, so your brain goes forward, but your head goes backward. Crash. So you crash in the car and your brain crash in your head. That's why you get injured. And as I said this morning before I sang the song, The best thing to do is protect your brain, because once it is injured, it never comes back the same way. It never comes back. If you know of anybody who has gone crazy, or what we call them have nervous breakdown, that's a nice way of saying it's all right. All right, you have a nervous breakdown. So when you don't want to call it what it is, you're saying you have a nervous breakdown. If you know somebody like that, after the nervous breakdown, it's not the same person. They try their best to demonstrate to you that they are the same, but it's not. Because once it gets injured, it can't fix. It's not like the other parts of your body that grow some things and repair over time. The repair is so eternally long that your lifetime might pass before the repair finish. So don't try to damage it. They used to think that. But over a long period of time, they're seeing now that, all right, one of the best ways to protect your brain is to provide proper input of what you see and what you hear. Windows today. You know, when I was growing up, I used to think there was a part inside of your name, soul. Yes, I used to think so. So I never thought of it like how Hollywood show, that this thing that come out of you. I used to think like it's another organ. So it's the soul organ that somewhere around there. I never thought of it as a spirit, like what they show something fly out of you. Or you hear people tell you that, I was in the operating theater and I was looking down on my body. Where are you looking down on it from? Where you did gone? Next for me, please. All right, so how do you exercise your brain? Gabby is going to give you some riddles. Please pay attention. Please pay attention. What happened? Go ahead. How many months of the year have 28 days? One. So how you get to 30? You don't have a past 28. All right. All right. What has hands and a face but cannot hold anything or smile? All right. These are the easy ones. It belongs to you. Tell me what that is. But your friends use it more than you do. Okay. You never know. You call your name? All right. Kate's mother has 3 children. Listen to this one now. 1, 2, and? Okay. It's working. Yes. All right. So 2 Corinthians 3 verse 18, what does it say? What does it say? Finally, brethren? What is a finally, brethren? All right. So we're changing from glory to glory. Next one. All right. So she's going to show you a video. All right. So tell me what you see. What do you see? A dog or a bird? You saw both? Okay. Just let him go. All right, so the faster you can see the images and switch between them, that means the quicker your brain is working. 10 seconds is what you're getting to spot the image. What do you see? A woman's face and a peacock. All right? Is not all of them going to be easy? A flower or several flowers? You don't see the butterfly? The butterfly is the nose. All right, what do you see? You see a blue and black, what? Okay, that's all that is there? Go back to it, please. Yes. So there are actually two dresses there. So the white and gold dress is to the left side. Next. A horse what? And a what? A horse and a what? A horse and a woman face? There are two things there. Please hold it right there. A horse and a what? No, cow is not there. That reminds me of one time I was going to Mandeville. I was walking and I passed people in the middle of the road, right up at in front of the KFC uptown. People in the middle of the road and everybody was looking up. I passed and I gone. What happened? The lady in the middle of the crowd, her brain gone. So she start look up in the sky and say, "Oh, no, see it." And people come and say, "Yes, me see it." But in this case, there is something to see. Let me show you. You just see a horse, right? You see other things? What you see? You see sky and so forth? We're not talking about that. Do you see the lady right here? You see a lady face, but there's an entire lady there. See her here? With her hand. Right, I told you the others, all of them was not going to be easy. You saw the lady? Yes, okay. All right, go ahead. What do you see? All right, so you see the girl winking and you see the fish on the plate. All right, what do you see here? You see a woman with 3 legs? You see the vase? Okay. It's on our right. All right, move on, Gabby. Yes. Yeah, that's what they would like us to think. You see a person? All right, you look like I need to borrow your eyes because I don't see no person there. You see a woman there, Percy? I wonder why Percy seeing so many women. All right, so what we see is a mountain and a bear. A bear. All right, let me show you the bear. So the bear. See the bear. All right, come and show me the woman. Percy, see a woman, do you know? Her shawl. All right, that's a far stretch. Go on, Gabby. All right, this one should be a good one. No, not that one. An old lady and a young lady. Everybody see the young lady? You don't see her? And she's so pretty. All right, let me show you her. No, the young lady not black. Okay, so this is the old lady, right? This is the cheekbone of the young lady. Her face is turned that way. You see her? All right, your mind can play tricks on you. Yes, yes. Those who need their glasses. Yes. Yeah. Okay. 2 leaves, 2 lips, a leaf. No, no. Please pause the picture. All right, everybody stop now. All right. So there are 2 little girls playing with a dog, and there's a skull. You see the 2 little girls and the dog? Okay. All right, so food for the brain. That was the exercise of the brain. All right? Reading is one of the greatest exercises. Yes. The more you read. But you know that reading is a dying art. Because the children don't even want to read the lesson, you know. As long as teachers send it, they put it on the laptop or on the tablet. No, not cut and paste. They press the thing and it read it for them. And what that does, you bypass the frontal gyrus, so you stop processing. So your mind doesn't get stronger, it gets weaker. So the part that helps you with reading and understanding and critical thinking, the engagement of the page with your eyes going over the letters on the page, it is creating an image in your mind, so you're becoming a part of the story. But when somebody is saying that the frontal gyrus is a part of the mind, and then after that finish, you know what I'm saying? You do that for expediency, but it doesn't help you. So what I tell my children, yes, that is good. And teachers are helping by sending the notes, but the children finding other ways to get in the notes. So what I'm telling them to do, print it and read it. Because what happens in your memory, you have to create a pathway in your mind. When you children supposed to know about what people call shortcut, right? You walk through the shortcut. The first day you walk in the field, it's not called a shortcut because there's nothing left behind. But if you keep going over that same path 2 or 3 times, you trample the grass and it leaves an impression and something forms. That is what reading does to your mind. You create an impression in your mind of what this thing, and you start seeing it. The first time I read Escape to Last Man Peak, I could create my own movie out of it. I could imagine the children being hungry and being attacked by these people. But so even when you go into putting books and tablets and so forth, and you get it to read for you, it's not doing the same thing as like when you read for yourself. So what you need to do, especially the young people who are still in school, read it for yourself, and then you play the thing in the background. It will remind you of what you read. But you need to engage your brain in what you're doing. Don't try to bypass. You see this, what this thing that they used to call it? Fiddle something another. There was this thing that the children used to hold between their 2 fingers. No, not that. Yes, the fidget spinner. Right. The children not engaged in what is taking place when they have it in their hand. So it helps to make your brain lazy. One of the greatest toys that you can give to a boy or a girl is this thing. It not look like not anything much, not true? But in order to line up, you see, and the creators have become a little bit more smart since my time. Yeah, you can't fix it again. So you have to turn it. In turning it, come Justin. Yes, sir. Sure. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Loss of memory. Yes, yes. Mm-hmm. 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 He's correct. What he's saying is that sometimes sin is one of the greatest cause of lack of memory. God never make us to forget things. Because it's so strange. We don't remember all of the good things, but make something bad happen. From the day you're born till you go in your grave, you don't forget it. So why we can't remember that and can't remember the good things? How many times can we remember when somebody did something good for us? But every time she walk past and step, and every time you see her, the girl, lady step on me too. So what that is saying is that a part of it is choice. So you have the sin effect, but a part of it is choice, why you're not remembering the good things. Yes. Fidget spinner, yeah. Mhm. To hear. Hmm. To yeah. Okay. So, uh-huh. Mm. Mm. And laugh. Mm-hmm. 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 But it happened in church. The people sitting on the outside and a child run from inside and running out to the road and sit down and look. Where mother? Frontal lobe gone. Can I get a volunteer, please? I'm going to take your hand. Come. Remember, it can't take off and pace back, you see? It's not the pace back type. All right. So, so the entire thing is jumbled, more or less. This one is, what you say, if you're going to give him away if it's jumbled. All right, so you're going to fix it as fast as you can before the time finish. So they're going to get 1 minute. In the meantime, they're fixing. Fix. In the meantime, they're fixing. What it is saying to us is that we must never lose our ability to solve problems. All right, you have 38 seconds. Continue fixing, continue fixing. right, so all right, so you're not going to be able to fix it unless you engage your brain. The brain have to work for you to fix it. All right? And not work like how mine was working at the time. Right? All right. So what foods do we need to eat to get our brains to function the way it needs to function? This is Sister Charmaine pet peeve. Right? We need to have spiritual meals of reading the Word of God. You know, I'm fixing the right way to say this. But I'm going to say it anyway. So our church has latched on to this new start. No offense, Sister Gabidan. No. The whole church latched on to this new start thing. Where did it come from? Put up your hand and tell me where it come from. It came from the spirit of prophecy. She organized it like that and gave it to us? No. Who organized it like that? Do you know that in the New Start acronym, God is at the end? Did anybody recognize that? God is at the end. So we do everything else. And when this, just like how the song say, when everything fails, try Jesus. So I have rearranged the New Start. This is me and Sister Keisha. I soon tell you. I soon take your point. I have rearranged the letters of the New Start because I think God's supposed to be the answer for everything. So everything's supposed to follow Him, not Him come after them. Right? So I say T square answer. I have all the letters of the New Start. Check it out if I have all the letters. T squared answer. You get it? So trust in the divine power come first. And then the ear, because if God not there, we not going to get no ear. Where we go? No, I soon get to temperance. If God is not there, how are we going to be temperate? We're going to need to be temperate? Ask yourself the question. People who don't worship God, are they temperate people? Where are they going to get are they going to be interested in the type of air that they breathe? You don't have them that kind of interest. What the end was for again? Nutrition. People who don't think about God and think about how life come into, they think about nutrition. They have time to think about that. They don't see it. No, they go with dietary fads, but as soon as it fails, they stop. Yes, but because it doesn't mean anything to them. Yes. Hmm. All right. New start. Okay. Yes, Sister Parks. Mm-hmm. Getting people to go back. Okay. Okay. All right. So it's packaging then. Yes. Mm-mm. Okay. All right. Charmin, you had something to say? She said it? Okay. All right. Yes, Keisha? All right. Okay. All right. This is good. Yes, Brother Pusey. Yeah. Yes. Yes. All right. So, yes. So the point is, The true crux of the point is, he will do what again? What's the verse we started with? Keep you in perfect peace. When will he do it? When your mind is stayed on him. Let us not lose that focus. All right. So we have the spiritual meal, we have whole grains, and they give you mental alertness. Blueberries, we don't have blueberries so much in Jamaica, but we have the brambleberries. We have mulberries. Those dark shaded colored fruits. Very good for mental, short-term memory. You know, when I was growing up, I still can't count the number of times that I was sick when I was growing up. I can remember those times when I was sick. Because it was few and very far between. We used to walk from school. Now the school is out by the gate, and the children stand up here so and wait for the taxi. Nobody not moving. And movement is one of the things that get your brain working. Because to move, while you're moving, you have to be making sure that you're putting your foot at the right place. All right? You have time to see what is happening around you. When you're in the taxi, you just want to reach. Right? So let us get moving. The health department always talking about moving. What if you live far, you can still walk? I used to walk from here to Bishop Gibson. Not here, up the top of Waltham. And you can be late. And when you get there, you're not tired because you leave out in a reasonable time. And one went the other direction. Yes. All right. So we have things that we can use to enhance our brain power. Sage, rosemary, help to improve your memory. I was reading something that, yes, some of them are poisonous. So you have to know them. I was reading something that for parents who have children at home, like especially in this time when children are studying at home, keep a piece of sage inside of where they're studying. Not sage, rosemary. It also refreshes the ear. And it works on their memory. And it makes a good tea. And another thing too, for parents who want to increase the children's capacity to concentrate, play nice, calm music. You know, I was eavesdropping on one of my children's devotion one morning. And I had to say to myself, man, if this is what the children get for devotion, they must be tired. Because when I heard the music that teacher was playing, I had to wonder to myself, I said, teacher catering to herself or she catering to the children? So, during the study time, play nice, relaxing music, not song, music. Mm-hmm. It's good. It's the same way all the time. Because you soon can tell the car, go. I need to go home, car, and it just... We get into the metaverse, you know. The devil making sure that we don't move. Because if we move, we're going to have to think. Okay. Things that are rich in omega-3, flaxseed, linseed, pumpkin seed. All the seed. Tomatoes help to combat the free radicals. Men, this is very important, especially to you. Tomatoes, cooked and raw, very good. Broccoli. Now, one of the reasons that I am afraid of the vegetables, especially the ones in the supermarket, they're prepared in greenhouses. And if you have ever visited a greenhouse, there's not a lot of soil in the greenhouse. So these plants are thriving mainly on fertilizers and water. If you take the sweet pepper, sometimes you go in the market and you see some big, lovely ones. I don't usually buy those because they stay in the fridge. If you leave them in the fridge for a week, they stay in there and disintegrate and turn back water. That can't be good for you. And especially in our country where pre-day larceny is a big thing, where they're stealing people's vegetables, when they just spray them, you don't even know what you're eating. So we have to be careful. What is it? What you have left? All right, so Gabby want to give you a few more riddles before we close. You're just going to read it? You're not going to show it? All right, she don't want to share screen. She said when you see it, you will figure it out. She wanted to create a part in your mind. So I thank you very much for participating in our presentation. I hope that you have gleaned something from it to carry you for today, tomorrow, and to move forward with. So please listen. So this one is, you have to